The new SEC schedules are here, and is there a surprise in one of Alabama's opponent? We're going to talk about that coming up here in 15 seconds. Yeah, a little football playing in the background. All right. I never claimed to be professional, Raj. I never claimed to be professional.
We haven't.
Special edition of Herb and Rodg Podcast coming at you with a quick video. Everybody was anticipating Tuesday that we would get our common opponents.
Correct.
Right? Then Chris Lowe came out and said, I got y'all. We're doing it early. And here it goes. So
Chris Lowe is a reliable source. So whatever Chris Lowe says usually is confirmed, and it is word. So we have to go with what Chris Lowe says.
Right. So Raj, before this comes out,
yes,
and I know you've already seen it, but what were your honest 3 guesses at what Alabama's opponents were going to be?
My honest 3 guesses were the same. That is probably 99.9% of Bama Nation was. I thought it was going to be Auburn, Tennessee, and LSU. Those have been the same 3 consistent teams we play year in and year out, and we've got some good rivalries going back a long way. So I thought those three teams were going to remain still.
Yes, and that's what I think most of us thought. Saban, one of the last things he said about this new schedule stuff, he's like, it wasn't fair if we had to play all 3 of those every year. But I think for most of us, we were just like, whatever.
Yeah.
But then the schedule came out.
Oh yeah.
Okay. How surprised were you when Mississippi State took that last spot?
I was very surprised because, again, I thought it would be LSU, but then I started thinking about something that you and I talked about, and we said, okay, this 9th team, I mean, with us having a 9-game schedule, are one of our opponents going to get a little bit easier? Is it going to be a little smoother transition? With that being said, I mean, obviously now Mississippi State's 4-0 this year, so they're trending in the right direction. We'll see how they finish the season, and especially going into 2026. But right now, you would have to think that LSU is the stronger opponent as opposed to Mississippi State. So surprised at that.
Is LSU only, that's people have said, is LSU only a rivalry because of Saban? And when he drops off, does Mississippi State move ahead of that list? So.
That's a good question. That's a very, very good question. I think it's also a fair question. When Nick Saban got to Alabama, it obviously changed the whole grand scheme of things between the 2 teams because obviously he coached there and won a natty there. With that being said, you still think the rivalry's there even without Saban. It's not necessarily the same. Obviously, we dominated the game last year, and I predict us to win this game this year. And I guess we'll just see LSU whenever we see them. So
right.
Yeah.
And that's one thing. The schedule for the next 4 years for everybody in the conference is supposed to come, depending on when you watch this video.
Yeah.
This video is releasing Tuesday morning. Tuesday afternoon/evening is when the schedule is supposed to be revealed for everybody. So you're either watching this after the fact or right before. So do any other, and we're going to keep this one short, folks. We just definitely had to comment on that one. My personal thought, I was hoping we would get Mississippi State, Kentucky, and Troy. But nobody called me. Well, nobody ever calls me when they ask about these opponents things.
Let me ask you this, Herb. What do you think everybody's reception would be like if that was to happen to Alabama? If we got those 3 teams, what do you think Twitter would
There would be first off, because Troy's not even in there, there would be a riot. They'd be like, Troy is an honorary member of this. It would just be a riot. But even if
they would probably say that Nick Saban set this up.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I would say that we have influence in the office. If you escaped Auburn and Tennessee, I think people would already know something was up.
Yeah.
I think in that order, you had to keep Auburn, and then Tennessee just felt like the next natural one for us.
Right.
There's other teams that you could think of, Ole Miss, but that's really just because of Lane Kiffin. Georgia, but I said I don't want to play Georgia every year because I feel like if we're going to play the best teams in the conference, we're going to meet the SEC championship game. We don't need them on the schedule every year. And there's 2 other teams in there, that are natural to us. Maybe Arkansas back in the day because they were in the West. But go ahead.
No, I thought the same thing about Georgia. Whenever Alabama plays Georgia, including this Saturday in Athens, that's usually like a game of the year type candidate. And I don't think it's fair to either team for us to play each other every single year. I like that. I like to be able to play them every once in a while because who knows what happens this season? Let's see, we play them Saturday. There's a chance we could see each other in the SEC championship and the playoff. That's just the way the world's going right now. We don't know. So with that being said, let me ask you a quick question. Which teams do you think just got hosed on here? Are there any ones that you're looking in like, man, they just got the bad end of the stick here?
Well, not that I'll ever feel bad for little brother Auburn,
yeah.
but having to play Alabama and Georgia every year can't be the greatest. But I feel like they tried to balance that with Vandy, and I know what people are saying. Well, they beat them last year, yeah, but traditionally Vandy would balance that out. So I think that one is okay. Yeah. Nobody else really. Or I'll say who maybe got the easier end of it was Tennessee getting Alabama, Kentucky,
and Vandy. Yeah,
I flipped to the easier end of that. So, and folks, keep in mind we're doing this video on a Tuesday morning. On Wednesday, on our show, we'll have the Powers brothers, Randy and Joe, will both be there, and we'll go into this a little bit more. They're actually having a live that aired Monday night on it, so we'll go into a little bit more. But I'll say on the easier end, I say Tennessee. Georgia, traditionally, that road's not easy. Auburn, Florida, maybe.
Right.
That's just kind of a mixed bag, I think.
Yeah.
So, nobody really got hosed, I would say. Did you have a different look on that?
No. I thought the same thing about Auburn having to face Alabama and Georgia every year. I thought maybe one of those may change for their favor, but obviously it didn't. And the beauty about this is that we don't know, especially based on this year, we don't know who's going to be good next year. We don't know who's going to be good in 2027. We don't know who's going to be good in 2028. Things could change in the SEC. Again, it's evident as this year where there's some teams that are on top and some teams a little lower down the totem pole. But for example, again, we have Mississippi State. Mississippi State might be ranked going into 2026, but I have no idea. So it'll be interesting to see that.
Yep. I think the last question on this, Raj, being that Mississippi State is seen as the lesser of the three teams that are on our natural schedule, are we allowed to go to a road game at Mississippi State, or do you think this road ban will continue for us? We've been to Oklahoma.
We're going to have to go to another road game. We're going to have to go to another road game eventually. So, yes, I think we can go to a game in Mississippi State. Oh, man.
And if you're a Mississippi State fan, no disrespect intended.
Yeah.
We're just hoping for the best here. So anyway, appreciate everybody checking us out real quick. Again, we'll probably go into this a little bit more on Wednesday night. By the time that shows, we'll also have the schedules for the next 4 years. So if Raj and I are planning some road trips, we can talk
figure it out
then and maybe take a vote. So Raj, appreciate you. Everybody else, thank y'all for tuning in. Like, subscribe, leave a comment down below where we way off. Did somebody get hosed and we didn't talk about them? Does Tennessee have the easiest road? Everybody have a great day. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.